Greetings, truck lovers. They're painted as outlaws with animals in the back. But in truth, they're the first responders to America's food chain. And when safety is ignored, what do you think happens? The rates may stay low, we all pay the price in ways far beyond the grocery aisle. Now let me paint you a picture, folks, because if you've never heard the phrase outlaw hauler whispered at truck stops or blasted across late night AM radio, you already know where this story begins. The stereotype, it didn't just fall out of the sky. It came roaring out of the back roads. Black smoke, fast run loads before the ink dried on the BOL. The image of the rugged cowboy trucker running cattle wide open through the night. Oh, it stuck all right. The media ran wild with it. Hollywood polished it. And regulations, well, they came swinging right behind it. But here's the kicker. The image ain't the truth anymore. Now, today's livestock hauler isn't chasing the clock for thrills. They're racing it because 5 minutes can mean stress, injury, or death in the trailer behind them. Over millions of animals die in transit each year, yet people don't know about it, and they seldom read about it. And a huge chunk of that has nothing to do with reckless driving. It's regulatory delays, forced idle time, and one-size-fits-all policies written by people who've never walked in a chute loading cattle. So maybe, just maybe, this isn't a job for more cookie-cutter legislation. Maybe it's a job for smarter training, perhaps better equipment, and or policy shaped by people who've actually done the job. Because what's riding in that trailer isn't just freight. Folks, it's life. It's living, breathing life. It stresses, it suffers. These aren't just pallets of soda pop. It's rolling biology. And that makes livestock transport different. Not special, not untouchable, but deserving of a little bit more care, a little bit more insight, and a little bit more respect than it's getting as we speak right now. Now, I'm not here to elevate these haulers into some superhero class. No, sir. I am here to say this, however. You cannot slap a one-size-fits-all set of rules on a job where the freight kicks and can suffocate if you're forced to sit too long at a waste station. So here's the reality check. We've got real crashes, not theories, not hypotheticals. Right here on the board from the last 90 days, we're going to talk about here tonight. Trucks rolled, livestock lost, people injured, roads shut down. And what do we hear out of Washington? More rules, more restrictions. No mention of terrain, no focus on training. Just more layers of bureaucracy on people already hauling the toughest freight on the road. So tonight I'm going to ask the question, are more rules really the answer? Or is the problem the lack of training or lack of understanding and respect for the complexity of the job? Maybe that branded outlaw tag needs to go away. Because once they label you an outlaw, they don't have to ask if you were set up to fail. Tonight we're going to break that myth, and we're going to ask the hard questions. We're going to bring the truth out about livestock trucking to you on the front lines tonight, where it belongs. So, saddle up. This ain't just a show. This is a full load, wide turn, straight talking, stereotype shattering ride into the truth. My friends, welcome to the front lines, your collaborative think tank for advanced trucking journalism.
Love inexperienced driver.
I think trucking is a very good career.
The world meets nobody halfway. Do you understand what that means?
We don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Greetings to you, truck lovers and truth seekers. Welcome to Truckin FrontLines, your weekly recap and conversation on all things trucking. I'm your host, Boss Man. Our studio line, 860-785-3547. Our email, that's truckinnews@outlook.com. That's truckinnews@outlook.com. I am the chief executive of the Truth in Broadcasting Network. I welcome you to what I call the critical thinking of the trucking world, fueled by faith, sanctioned by God. Together, we can make trucking great again. So let's get into these stories. Let's take your calls. But first, a little something I had on comments left on this channel to all the viewers. Look, I welcome critique. I encourage it. But be warned, if you want to help make trucking great again, as you'll see later on in this broadcast, I highly value the conversations every one of you entertain with me. But if you don't have something nice to say, keep moving on, man. You're wasting your time. And I'm not just talking about general critique. I can take it like a man. I really can. I honor honest, valuable critique about the subject matter. But when you go off the rails and you become Democrat, your conversation stops. And if you think you're going to get one over by me being a bot, that ain't going to happen either. Moving on to today's first story. I-49, DeSoto Parish, Louisiana. Just a few weeks ago, a cattle truck overturns in the dead of night, spilling up to 70 to 80 cows across the interstate. Sent emergency crews scrambling. This wasn't just a crash and then a recovery. There was more to this, as we'll see in this news report that was filed. As soon as I can find it, 342. There we go.
On your way to work this morning, you may have noticed 2 lane closures on north and southbound of I-49. That's because around 1:15, the DeSoto Sheriff's Office responded to a crash accident near the Stonewall Frierson exit that left several injured and cows on the loose.
Received a call of an overturned 18-wheeler. And when they arrived on scene, they quickly realized that there were multiple, cows in the roadway.
But then a second accident, just minutes after the first, this time a regular vehicle hitting one of the cows. This video you've been seeing shows DeSoto locals, wranglers even, helping safely capture the loose cattle from I-49. Deputies say the driver of the 18-wheeler was also injured badly.
You know, it's easy to scroll past a headline like this and say, well, just another crash, just another spill. But what you just saw isn't just a trucking story. It's a systems story. Bring up the right set of graphics here. We'll be good. Good Lord, I'm all discombobulated today. There we are. Trailer didn't flip because the driver was an outlaw. It flipped because the job pushes real people to the brink with outdated trailers, early morning fatigue, and freight that moves. Yeah, it moves. And sometimes it moves when you least expect it. It's not freight in a box, people. It's live cargo. And when it's hitting the pavement, it's not just the driver that pays. It's the families that swerve and the troopers that have to deal with the cleanup, the animals who suffer, and the taxpayers who foot the bill. So if we're going to talk about safety, we cannot just talk about the hours of service and the DOT numbers. We've also got to talk about the equipment too. Because you can preach safety from the top down all day long, but if the trailer is wrong from the ground up, the crash is already scheduled. So let's make it personal. What's the one thing you'd redesign about a livestock trailer to make them safer. Think about it. If you're out there watching this show right now and you run livestock, you're dealing with older trailers, newer trailers, trailers of all different makes and all different types. What's the one thing you notice about most of these accidents you see involving livestock trailers? That if you had the ability to change that trailer, or trailers in general, usually plural, what would that one thing be? Thumper, I'll bring you up for the first round of questioning. What would that one thing be to you?
That's actually kind of a hard one, because
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've been doing this long enough. I should know.
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of accidents happen because they're improperly loaded. For one, me personally, when I load a trailer, if I got a partial load or something along those lines, I try to set the cows up so it's less movement in the trailer.
Mhm.
So, I mean, kind of look at it this way. If you're in an elevator and there's one or two people, well, let's just use kids for example, because kids are really hyper.
Yep.
They're running around, that elevator's moving back and forth. Cattle are kind of the same thing. They don't understand the concept of what they're going through. So, yeah, generally when you get going down the road, they kind of settle down, but there is stuff out there that will spook them and they'll start moving again.
Mhm.
And I mean, if you sit and watch a cattle truck going down the road, or even a pig truck, actually just a livestock hauler in general.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, the freight moves, and when the cows are moving, the truck's all over the road. I mean, simple as that. I mean, you can sit there and hold the steering wheel straight.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you ever drive by a cattle truck and you wonder why they're unable to keep it, it's not because of the wind, it's not because they're drunk, it's because the cattle's doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, you got to sit and think. You got 40, 50, 60,000 pounds, depending on how much you're hauling, in the back of there, all moving at once.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of one thing, too, is like, we're not just a truck driver. We are a vet. If we're carrying preg livestock, we got to check on them. And if there's a calf or a baby pig, I don't know what they call them, or, like even horses, like a foal and all
now,
that.
Is there a particular way that you as a livestock hauler can like be selective, as it were? Like say you're loading, I'm picking a number random because I'm not a livestock hauler, but let's say you're loading 30 head.
Yep.
And then maybe one or two out of that 30 seems a little squeamish, or maybe you think in the back of your mind, looking at it, that's not going to make the trip. Do you have the ability to say no?
So, yes, when you haul livestock like pigs and cows, I know those because
I know it's totally off the rails question.
No. It is actually
anyway.
It's a valid question. It is a
Yeah.
valid question. So, I know pigs and cows. I don't know about other livestock because I've only hauled pigs and cows, but we have to have a certification. And
we'll go over that later. I know exactly what you're talking about. So say that.
But that leads into your question though.
Yeah.
So as a transporter, we have every right to sit there and say, no, I'm not taking that one. Right. Or in my case, I haul for, I call them plants because of certain platforms I can't use certain words.
Right.
But like processing plants. There we go. We'll just go with that.
Works for me.
I have to carry those sick cows. Okay. At that point, instead of me being responsible for the cow, if I have a sick cow, it all depends on how I load my trailer.
Right.
If I put the sick ones or cripple ones on the back, it's on them because I loaded the trailer properly. And the other thing is like your cut gates. You got gates in the trailer that's supposed to kind of gives them, such a big area and combines it down to a smaller one.
I'm kind of glad you mentioned that, because that to me would seem like a weakness. Leading back to the first question I opened this segment with, if there was one thing you could do to change these trailers, to quote, upgrade them, improve them, wouldn't that be the first place that you as a livestock hauler would think of looking?
Yeah, it is. And generally when you get a trailer, they all have their standard cut gates in the top and the bottom of the trailer. And a lot of it is too is how the trailer's set up, what it's designed for, and stuff like that. I mean, me personally, I would, to answer that question, I mean, it's a catch-22 question is what it is.
Well,
You know,
I mean,
everybody has their preferences. There's some people that I know that don't even use the cut gates.
if you're going to join the show, have the tenacity to stay the course, man. Jesus, I've got a guest waiting backstage. One popped in and then dropped out again.
It must be having internet issues.
I don't know, but it's just funny how that happens. We'll bring everybody up here in just a second, but I just wanted to make a highlight to Tolga watching us from overseas. Thank you. Glad you could join us. Glad you've been leaving comments. Nice to have you watching and contributing. I value every contribution you make. We got Poet over the border in the house. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. We've got some other guys in the background here. I'm also going to highlight here in just a moment. All right, you want to do it that way? That's fine too. If you guys want to contribute to the show, go ahead and do so, calling our studio line at 860-785-3547. If you've got something productive to add to a livestock haulers or safety question, by all means, hit us up on that line, 860-785-3547. Talking about livestock haulers and some of the safety issues regarding some recent accidents and a more important story coming up later in the show. Grumpy in the house. God bless you. Good evening. I'm glad you could join us.
Hey, how are y'all tonight?
Oh, we are loving life every day as always. So what's your thought on livestock haulers? Do you think they're the badass outlaws that everybody says they are?
Not so much as they used to be years ago. Back in the day,
So you think
late 70s and early 80s they were, but nowadays, other than having trucks, well, other than having their trucks that are, ungoverned, most of them, stuff, and that's reasons because they've got to be able to get these livestock to the places quickly because they can't keep them on a trailer long.
Yeah.
No, they all try to say, oh, well, they get away with this. Oh, they get away with that. No, they still have to follow most of the rules that we do. They just get a little bit more leniency because of what they're carrying. They have precious cargoes. So
not always, but okay. I'll accept your explanation. We got a caller on the line. Welcome to the show, caller. I'm glad you could call the front lines. What say you, my friend?
I'm just wondering what I'm able to say and not say in this censorship show now.
Censorship show? What makes you say that?
Well, in the beginning, you told me I could walk on. I'm not allowed to say certain things.
No, must I really go ahead and clarify that? I mean, obviously.
I would, because words have meaning, and what you said is you believe in censorship.
No, that's not what I said. Recently, I've had a bunch of people leave some rather insulting comments, which have nothing to do with the comments or the content for which they were commenting, and are absolutely not even worth.
To do that?
Why would anybody in my position even give those comments light of day? They are true. So they embarrass themselves, but at the same time, do you not think that kind of detracts from what you're actually, when you're reading comments and you're seeing opinions, do you not think that detracts from it?
A comment is a comment.
True.
A comment is a comment.
True. But I'd like.
If you want to censor people,
go
right ahead. It's your show. You can do what you want.
I don't look at what I'm saying as censorship, and I don't look at it as a warning as a censorship. I look at it as a way of upgrading the conversation, which is exactly what this channel is about. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make trucking great again. And I can't do it with a bunch of people that are hitting me up with bot-style comments that are absolutely meaningless to the content. Do you not agree?
I like I said earlier, a bunch of jackasses.
Well, that's true.
But they're entitled to be jackasses.
Yeah.
And they can leave shitty comments.
That's true.
A good comment or a bad comment is a comment, brother.
Well, we're
never gonna make trucking great again.
Well,
let that sink in.
In that, I'm going to challenge, and I will every day, because I've done that since the first broadcast. But in what you said a minute ago, a comment is a comment. Yes, that I will agree with.
And I know nothing about livestock hauling.
You do know about trucking.
I know nothing about it.
Well, you do know about trucking.
Well, not hauling live animals. I know nothing about that. That's Thumper's world.
Well,
I'd be scared driving alongside Thumper. He's
no.
got a loud air horn.
No, yeah, that thing would scare the total pee out of me. And
I'm not in the truck today.
I dribbled a little.
Yeah, right.
Just ask him.
Ask him. Ask him about dribbling. Okay.
Truckers have to drive.
Some of us do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of us have to drive for a living.
I know you're picking on me now.
I am. I'll let you know. I just wanted to harass you.
All right. That was Scott from Fate Trucking. God bless you. Thank you for calling. Go check him out. Fate Trucking. He's a good guy. He's good people. Let's bring on our other guest backstage. Dollar has been humble enough to join us. What say you this evening, my friend?
Oh, God is great.
Obviously, every day is great.
Mountain Dew is cold.
Yep.
And people are crazy.
My Mountain Dew is ice cold. What's your thoughts about tonight's leading story? You got anything to add to it?
Well, what was the driver doing? Be turned over. That's the question. Did he jerk the wheel?
This first story, I'm guessing it was fatigue, because that's kind of one of the things that the first article hinted at. I don't know that was ever revealed. The links down below, if you look the story up, I think it's kind of left open and no follow-up is because it's really recent. So the official file hasn't been made, but from all I can gather, it was probably due to fatigue, because that's actually what's leading into my next question. As livestock haulers, you, Thumper, could probably better relate to this. How do you guys manage fatigue when you're hauling a load that doesn't care about what the clock says? When the law says rest, but the livestock says move. How do you deal with that?
I don't know, pick your battles type of thing.
Pick your battles, really. That's an interesting way of putting it.
I mean, there's some DOT officers will sit there and say the livestock have priority over the clock, and then there's some that will say the clock has priority over the livestock. You got to find a place to unload them and rest. Mm-hmm. I don't do a lot of that long haul stuff, so never really been in that situation.
Yeah.
And also, not only that, one of your stories that we're going to be covering tonight, there will be some more detailed explanation into that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
The better question is, how do you deal with driver fatigue running load after load and making sure that the animals are safe?
Yeah, what's the first thing you think about when it comes to making sure that you're well enough rested in between these long loads? Not foreshadowing what's coming up, but what's the first thing that really goes through your mind? Is it a pacing thing? Is it more a legal thing? When it comes to figuring that out, what's your one piece of advice?
Well, that kind of goes to what we're going to talk about later. But my piece of advice is, if you're tired, find a place to unload them, sleep.
Okay.
I mean, that's the number one thing is if you can't make it there safely, who cares if you're going to be late or not, as long as they make it there safely and you don't have any down cows or down animals.
Right.
Or if it's cool enough, park at a safe place, take a couple hour nap so you can get them there.
Yep.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, let me cover something real brief for just a moment, because we got, like I said earlier, we had a couple other stories to move on to. So I want to make sure that we cover everything we can as succinctly as we can. Do you guys think that the 49 wreck we're talking about is still fresh in our minds? It wasn't the only one. In fact, months earlier in a different part of the country, another truck went over, another highway shut down, another wake-up call ignored. Before I move on to that story, though, I want to give a couple of shout-outs. First, a shout-out to a couple of people. One of them may be in our office tonight or in our audience tonight, and if he is, welcome. Make yourself known. I'm going to give you a shout-out right here. Griff USMC is one of our first and premier Ditto Head members. Okay, he's with us, and he's with us enjoying a lot of the benefits that come with being a Ditto Head. Real cheap. It's your way of supporting our channel. I welcome you to look into it. He's enjoying the benefits of early notification of video releases and the satisfaction knowing that he's helping to support the continued operation of this channel. The hard work and research that goes into each and every one of these videos and shows certainly isn't easy. And every way that you can recognize this, well, if you're not convinced, just go down below, leave a like on this video, and, well, check us out. Give us time. Give me the opportunity to help you see a way of making trucking great again. And there's a call out I want to make to another special viewer, a gentleman that took the time to leave me a rather interesting story on my latest video, talking about the new laws affecting seniors. Gentleman's name is Gene Fogarty. He's got a different, I'm not going to call out his specific user address, but he was gracious enough to comment on my last video. And I was impressed with the story he left about his father, whom, even though he was injured on the job, managed to keep it together long enough after some pretty severe injuries to get the job done, and passed all of his knowledge on to him, the man leaving the comment. I'm highly inspired by that comment, gracious for the conversation, and I'm glad to have met your acquaintance on that video in this channel. So I'm glad you were with us. I'm glad you took the time to leave that. And I thank you for watching and your support. We need more people like you. God bless you and keep her rolling. Now, if the Louisiana crash wasn't enough of a fluke, I want to move on to yet another story just as impressive. Different highway, different state, same outcome. This time we're talking about Indiana, Lake County, near Gary, Indiana, where a truck hauling over 100 dairy cows overturned on a ramp coming from I-65 to the I-80, I-95 interchange. It wasn't an outlaw run. It was a routine haul until the road and the rig didn't agree. I'm going to go ahead and roll a video clip, and then we'll talk on the other side about why this makes a difference. Unfortunately, my computer wants to be slow as all molasses, but we're going to roll it anyway.
Died. 2 more ended up hurt. The truck was carrying 127 of these cows in total.
Officials say the cows are from Fair Oaks.
Technical difficulties.
Now, Indiana State Police say the rollover happened on the ramp going from northbound I-65 to westbound I-80, 94 in Lake County.
So the driver of the cattle truck not hurt, but he was cited for driving too fast, as police believe speed played a factor in this crash.
Yeah, speed will sometimes catch up with you. Consequently, the driver involved was cited for driving too fast, as you heard. It's one thing to run these guys in a box truck or a reefer, but in this day and age, you can't do that. But when you run cattle, it's a whole different game. It's like running a tanker. You run those ramps, you felt that lean. You know what? You don't do it in a tanker. You're certainly not going to do it in a livestock truck. So tell us about taking turns with cattle. It's a whole different thing, isn't it, Thumper?
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, so there is one other thing or two other things out there that kind of compare to hauling cattle, and that is an unbaffled tanker and swinging meat.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get that stuff moving, it's a slosh effects is what it is. And then also, not to burst your bubble, but yes, we did cover this story when we were doing our outlaw thing a couple months ago, but
I didn't recognize the footage, so yeah, I didn't know.
It's still a good one to bring up because it is. I mean, that's literally what happened. And in my opinion, yes, a trailer can only hold a certain capacity, but if you load it correctly, you could prevent something like that. Yes, you need to slow down on your turns, but if you leave the cattle enough room to move around in there and you take that corner, okay, well, let's put a marble in a box and then all of a sudden take a left turn while you're doing a circle. What's going to happen? It's going to roll over off to the side side that the G-forces are bringing it, and that's what happens is you got those cattle up high, you got them up low, wherever they're positioned in the trailer, and it will tip over. Like, I mean, it's just, literally, with a cattle trailer, you are top heavy. And that's one thing I deal with, like, with my drivers, is the other night, I kind of got after one of my drivers. He goes, well, I loaded, he's doing a multiple pickup. So he loaded his nose, which is fine because they're right above your drives. And then he had two of them at the same spot, two left over. And me personally, I'd either I would throw them on the back, leave them alone because they're still down low. Not a big issue. But he put them in the compartment in the back top, which we call the doghouse or the jail. And he stuck them in there. Well, what does that do? That makes you very top heavy at that because you have weight up top, nothing on the bottom. So it does all really depend on how you load your trailer, if it's going to work correctly or not.
Very true. Do you think most livestock trailers are built to handle interchanges like this, or are we just running live freight on equipment designed back in 1985?
They're designed for it, but they're not designed to go around a corner at a high rate of speed, just like a normal semi.
Right.
You know, honestly, I think dry vans turn over on that corner too.
There's been dry vans, there's been reefers, there's been tanks, there's been flatbed step decks. They've all laid it over because of speed there. That is a very tight corner.
That corner snuck up on me a few times. I mean, I've never rolled a truck, thankfully, but you know, it's kind of
what
deceptive.
happened.
I mean, because you think you're doing slow enough, but then all of a sudden you start noticing the auto brake, because a lot of these newer trucks have that auto braking system where if it detects a rollover, it hits that. I've had that happen a couple of times on that turn. It scared me.
I don't like them on trucks.
Yeah, well, I don't either, but you know, you can pretty much. Because, I mean, the sign there is kind of deceptive. I think the speed sign says 35. But when you go under the bridge and you're heading on 80 West, that turn kind of sharpens really abruptly. So if you're doing 35, you're kind of doing it a little too fast. You've almost got to slow down to 25.
And that corner's probably designed for a car, you know, not a fully loaded semi, you know.
Well, you talk to somebody at DOT and they're going to say, well, we designed it for all vehicles. That's BS, but, you know, you and I know different.
Yeah, but, you know, a lot of overturns are, I would say majority of the of cattle trailer or cattle trucks tipping over is driver error because they either one, weren't paying attention, two, they were carrying too much speed.
Yep.
I wouldn't really call it on fatigue or anything like that. It's just more that they don't know the surroundings.
Yeah, I was going to say the first accident I'll call on that one, but until the official report comes out. But this one was clearly just driving too fast.
Yeah.
You know, Grumpy, where is it in your state that's particularly hairy? It would be something similar to, say, that 65, 80, 94 interchange.
I'd have to say up there they're trying to figure out how to improve it, but it's where I-44 and I-40 interchange together. There's a pretty good curve to go down to come off 40 to go eastbound on 44 right there. And there's been a few times there's been trucks plow into the guardrails and stuff because of overspeed and stuff through there. I mean, there's a couple of other places that are like that through our state too, but
yeah.
And then there's another one. They just widened it not long ago, which is further down east on 40, close to Tinker Air Force Base.
Right.
That's that one there's gotten trucked lots of times.
Yeah.
So.
And Dollar, where you normally get around, what's one of the interchanges that you hate the most, based on what we're talking about tonight?
Well, actually, one's real close to where I live. It's I-29 and getting on 880. You come across the bridge at full speed, and you have to slow down to 35 mile an hour to make it around to go on 880.
Yep.
Yep.
I know exactly which one he's talking about.
There's been multiple trucks laid over. Another one, there's a 2-lane road on 141 that it is a 45 mile an hour corner, and if you're not paying attention, it'll sneak up on you, and multiple trucks have laid it over right there.
If you're watching this on the replay, or if you're watching us live, put down in the chat right now an interchange that you feel others need to know about based on what we're talking about tonight. Like, for example, my particular hated intersection is if you're traveling 75 southbound and want to exit to go 640 east. That one's a nasty one, because you come up on that one, and I've done it twice, and you'll be thinking it's just an average, but no, you've got to slow down to literally 20 miles an hour. And God forbid you got a tanker or a livestock trailer. You got to go even slower than that. I mean, that is one sharp, nasty turn. So guys, be careful going down that way.
There's one in Bismarck that's like that too, coming off 94 onto Expressway. They say it's 25 mile an hour, but loaded, I've had to slow down to like 15, and it still feels like you're going to tip over.
Yep.
So, and I mean, there's even a couple out there too. Like there's one at Sturgis. If you're not Sturgis, South Dakota, it's, in my opinion, it's not banked enough for a cattle truck, because every time I come into it, I slow down to like 50, because it does. If you hit it at 75 mile an hour, it feels like you're just gonna right over.
Yep. So if you're just now joining us, thank you for joining and watching. Contribute your thoughts in the comments. Let us know. Go down below, hit the like button, become a subscriber, join our membership. Either way, if you subscribe, it's free. If you join, we love you. We're talking about trucking accidents that involve cattle haulers. Are they the outlaws that everybody says they are? Two different accidents, two different scenarios. But coming up later in the show, we're going to get into what Congress thinks about the solutions too. But first, let's take one more look at this pattern that's been forming. And let's really figure out what's the real cause here. What's the real cost when safety is only defined hindsight rather than ahead? Thumper, what do you think? I mean, do you think we're doing enough to highlight the safety in this, or do you think this is open season for the suits in Washington? What's your thoughts?
I don't know. It's hard, because I mean, a lot of it is, and maybe Dollar will disagree or agree with me, but a lot of it is we get these young punk ass kids who think it's the life to pull livestock. You got a cool truck, you're making all this money, and blah blah blah.
You're going back to that outlaw stereotype.
Yes, and that's not what it is. I mean, yeah, we get a little leniency. The rules are a little different for us, but if you don't know how to work the rules in your favor, it's going to bite you in the ass.
It will.
Let's put the rules are there to help the animal,
They
not
are.
necessarily help the driver.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that's the case? Do you think it's more for the animal than it is for the driver?
Oh yeah,
It is.
because that animal has more rights than you and I do.
Well, I
No
don't doubt it.
matter,
And
no matter.
The only reason I'm phrasing it that way is because I've never done the job, so I don't know. I'm learning the same way the viewers are. So please tell me.
Put it this way: you will have those guys that will go out and they've got to run as fast as the truck will go.
Right.
They're going to cram them in there, do it unsafe.
Yep.
To harm the animal, and then sit there and cry wolf when somebody yells at them because they're doing their job wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If I knew how to send a TikTok video to you, boss man, there is one guy on TikTok that describes the perfect way on hauling. Since we're on this subject, let me see if I can figure out how to do this.
Well, if you can figure it out, try doing it through my email. That's truckinnews@outlook.com. We'll bring it up next week's show. I'm really considering making certain changes to kind of liven up the show, different segments during the show, different questions to ask, stuff like that. So
yeah, I'll see if I can figure it out.
Maybe that'll catch me at a weird moment.
And a lot of it is, he's actually, Dollar knows him very well. He's one of our good TikTok friends.
Yeah.
He says you don't need to be doing he goes, people are wondering why there's so many casualties on the trailer. Well, it's the way you drive.
Right.
You're going around a corner too fast, that cow tips over, the other one step on it. A lot of it is on how you drive.
Yep. It is. It is. 860-785-3547 if you have something to offer. If you want to help contribute to make trucking great again, give us a call. Let us know in the chat below. Last question before we move on to the last story. Do you guys think livestock hauling is treated with the same level of professionalism and investment as other specialized freight? Like, say, hazmat, tanker? What do you really think? I mean, if there's a gap, if you don't think so, let me know why. Tell me. Do you think it is, or do you think we have a long way to go yet? What do you think, Thumper?
Honestly,
when you think about it, it is a specialized.
Talk bad about it, but it really is. It is specialized, but it battle world, like a lot of people see it as.
Your audio's cutting in and out, Thumper. I don't know if you realize that.
Okay. Move on.
All right. We'll bring this back up in the third story. I'm going to move on to the third story, and we'll pick this up on the other side. So hang tight, guys. Now, folks, we've seen 2 wrecks, 2 different states, same result. And here's the part that ought to make your blood boil. Not once did we hear a politician ask, was that trailer designed right? Not once did they question whether local responders knew what the hell to do with the frontline freight on the road. Not once did anyone say, let's rethink training, roads, or tech. But you know what they did do? They introduced a bill. Oh, yeah. One that would eliminate rules altogether for livestock haulers. 2 accidents, right? You heard it here. No more hours of service, no more ELD. No limit on time, no requirement on rest. They're calling it the HELP Act, and it's headed for the House floor with a pretty bow and a lobby group right at its back door. And the question isn't whether it's popular. The question is it smart? Well, we're about to talk about that. I'm holding right here in front of me in my computer a report from FreightWaves, one of the most trusted logistics and freight news outlets in the country. This isn't just someone's blog. This isn't Facebook chatter. This is straight journalism. with a close look at a new bill introduced by Congressman Jeff Hurd of Colorado called the HELP Act. According to the article, this bill proposes a full exemption for livestock haulers from federal hours of service rules and the ELD mandate. Not a tweak, not a pilot program, but a total carve out. Now, let me be fair here. FreightWaves journalist lays it out pretty plainly. Push for this bill is backed by powerful industry groups, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, the Livestock Marketing Association, and others who say that current federal rules endanger both the animals and the drivers. Remember that. And from the journalist's tone, I've read it twice, you can hear the skepticism. There's a quiet challenge under the surface. Why now? And is this just a louder version of the same exemption passed in 2022? The article reminds us that the FMCSA denied this request once before because the data did not show that eliminating rules would maintain or improve safety. We already have a 150 air mile exemption already in for the origin and destination. It already exists. And there's no new crash data since the rule was put in that shows that hours of service or ELDs have any difference or are to blame. And I want to quote this piece directly because it gets to the heart of what this show is all about. Opponents argue that removing these rules without proof of equal or improved safety puts everyone at greater risk. So the question becomes, are we solving a problem or are we avoiding the one that already matters? Let me know in the chat. Tell me what you think. Are we saying no more clocks because we don't want to address the fact that we haven't trained these drivers? We haven't upgraded the equipment. We haven't even given the states the tools to respond when these wrecks happen? Or are we just giving up entirely? So let me ask you guys, do you guys think that eliminating these federal rules protect the driver? Or do you think it protects the producer? Let me know what you guys think. Thumper, what say you?
Go to dollar first.
Okay, be that way. I don't care. Dollar, what do you think?
What do I think? Who does it protect?
Yeah, I mean, is it the driver or is it the producer?
It protects the producer because if the animal gets hurt while he's on your trailer, they blame you. Even though, and Thumper can vouch for this, you could have one that's kind of gimpy and you want to keep it on the back, and you're like, I think I want to leave it, but the guy that where you're loading is like, it's got to go, it's got to go.
Yep.
You know. And I don't mean for just certain people. I mean, there's a lot of places that are that way, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, like I stated earlier, that animal has more rights than you and I.
Yep. Grumpy, put the whole idea of it being a livestock issue aside for just a moment. When you hear from anyone about less rules or something that existed being taken away, what's the first thought that goes through your mind? What do you think about what you're hearing?
Oh, more regulations. Just what we need.
No, what they're talking about is less of them.
I know I had to say that because I remember someone always saying that.
Okay, yeah. He's even watching tonight. That's funny though. I mean, think about it. I mean, it goes to my lead question. I mean, what does this do? Does it protect a specific group? Maybe, because I don't think it really does anything for the driver. The drivers currently, as Thumper's about to tell you, the drivers currently right now have everything they need. Him and I have spoken off air a couple of times. It's not that we don't. I mean, training's a different thing. We'll get into that in a minute. But in terms of hours and in terms of whether or not you run, the system's set up the way it should be. Now, what is your classic thing, Grump? every time you enter these conversations, your classic line, if it ain't broke,
don't fix it.
Exactly. So I mean,
it's true though.
Grumpy, Grumpy, what do you think? I mean, using that analogy, what do you think?
Well, I'd have to say that it's going to probably benefit more for the ones that you're hauling for than the actual drivers. It's all about money and getting the cargo to where it needs to be for them in the best manner without, I'd say, about the best I can think about on that one, to be honest with you.
I mean, makes perfect sense, you know. So, I mean, everything I just laid out, Dumper, what? I'm gonna let you take it because I mean, I think I've set you up for a perfect discussion. So, tell us what you think.
So, when a certain president was in office, he's the one who signed the bill. Biden signed the bill for the destination and the pickup for the 150-mile air radius. That gives you 6 free hours.
Yep.
And those free hours, actually, if you're running a clock, that's 6 hours that the clock notices you on a break.
Yep.
So, literally, you have more hours in a day than what, say, you, Grumpy, and Dollar can do. Granted,
right.
Dollar's hauled livestock. The way it's set up now, if you know how to work your clock with your split time and this and that and stuff like that, you're set up for success. So this law that they're trying to pass, it's to benefit more money going into the pocket of the producer. Is going to run us ragged. In my opinion, I don't think this law should pass. As much as I'm all up, yeah, let's run until you're tired and go to sleep and get up. But a human body can only handle that for so long.
Yep.
So, exactly. and with what we last week, I got DOT'd and I was going over my logbook and we were throwing different scenarios at each other and stuff like that.
Right.
The part is the DOT officer shot me down on I was doing right and how it should be, and then
and I want you to highlight and tell everybody what you learned. But first, you've got to fix that audio because it's cutting out again on you. So I'll come back to you. Dollar, what do you think? I mean, when it comes to, I mean, a hypothetical here. If your hamburger costs you $20, what then would you think about the system we have currently with no changes? What would you rather have? Faster beef or safer roads? What say you?
I want both. I mean, if you really sit down and look at it, what's faster beef going to do for you? Nothing. You know?
Well, I kind of picked on the whole ideology of this entire bill in a community post earlier this week, and I levied the possibility of a $20 cheeseburger. I mean, without some sort of standard in the industry, that could very well happen.
Yeah.
So that's where
it's
that
going
$20.
To.
Well, yeah, and that's where that faster beef question came from. I mean, think about it. You either want to pay more for your product because you put thought, time, and energy into being safe about it, or you're going to pay for it on the back end an even steeper price because you're ignoring all the signs. You know?
No. See, I look at it differently. Like the way you're explaining it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, okay, yes, I understand the safety and stuff like that, but
make it make sense to me then.
I would rather pay less knowing that the product is getting there. Now, if you get rid of this law, which there's a lot more to it, and you get these drivers, not picking on certain people, but they are out there, that can do 100 mile an hour, blow the weigh scales, run as long as they want. More trucks are going to tip over. Okay, well, what happens? It's a supply and demand thing. If trucks are tipping over, losing cattle, and the producers will actually turn a load away if they take a cow from that load that was tipped over, and they just a random cow,
right,
process it, and the meat is bruised, that's less product.
Exactly. Yeah.
So your prices are going to go up from there.
Yep.
The system we have now works perfectly fine. Don't touch it.
Yep. I want to highlight the comment on the screen. Poet says, in my 20s, I hauled 2 loads of cattle. No training for loading, never hauled them again. It's such a specialized niche, and I was not prepared for it. And it takes a real man to admit that. Sometimes people stick out in a niche or a specialized part of the industry, even though they know they're not supposed to, because their ego gets in the way. And the fact that you actually figured that out, kudos to you. Trying to see what else he throws up there. Same goes for trailers. He's going on to a couple of comments. Thumper, you so far has not said anything about trailer redesign. I think he and I think he pretty much summed it up. I see why you're saying that, but when it comes to these livestock trailers, they're already made of aluminum. They're already made, for being lightweight, because you're hauling nearly 100,000 pounds of cattle. There's not much more you can do with them.
The only thing I would change or redesign, and it's something you could do when you order a new trailer, maybe another cut gate here and there. Otherwise, they're set up where they are. They don't need to be redesigned. There might be a couple small changes on my trailer that I would change to benefit me for loading, but that's it.
Yep.
As far as going down the road,
yep,
they're designed where they are and they work perfectly fine.
Yep. This question I'm going to throw to all 3 of you guys on the panel, because I mean, it kind of pertains to cattle haulers, but Grumpy, you're going to fall into this too. Thumper, you first. What do you say to those, whether it's media or just the industry in general or the general public, that cry that, well, you guys are just outlaws and you need to be reined in? How do you respond to that?
Quit looking at the ones who are fucking up.
What makes you different than them?
I be safe. I run my log like I'm supposed to, and I take a lot of pride in my work.
Right. Do you think training has anything to do with that?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah? What do you think of the current training standards? And we're going to get into a little bit more detail here in upcoming questions. I'm leading up to something. Training standards as it pertains to the everyday job of loading and unloading and getting the job done safely.
What training?
Is that how you're going to answer it? What training?
What training? The only thing that comes close to a national training is your BQA or your PQA.
Yeah. All right. Well, because you mentioned it, let's go ahead and let people know, what is the BQA?
BQA, Beef Quality Association, is what it stands for.
I actually knew you were going to come up with this, so let me tell you what I came up with. In 2021, the USDA transport report noted major gap in driver education being the cause of animal stress and mortality during transport. So they came up with what you're talking about. And I've heard that it's offers state and nationally coordinated training and certification for drivers hauling livestock. As of 2020, major beef processors began requiring of you guys and most companies doing your job. Is that a pretty fair way to say it?
Yep. Well, there's my certification card right there for my beef.
The biggest reason they come out with it is because of your so-called outlaws, your young guns that wanted to come out here and make a name for themselves.
Right. Yep. Okay.
It didn't do it because Thumper was doing his job wrong. You know, I mean, I'd pick on him just because I know what he's doing, and I'll tell him he's doing it wrong just to make him look at me like I'm nuts.
One of our viewers left a comment in the chat, says that they're the most dangerous truck on the road.
And they are.
It's almost the same thing as saying outlaw, but I understand why they're saying that. And thank you for leaving that comment, by the way, to Court, a new viewer. Before you leave, go ahead and like the broadcast. I'd appreciate it.
No, I'll flat out admit it. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Because the load moves.
Mm-hmm.
You could be going in a straight line and something can spook them, and all of a sudden, there goes the truck in the passing lane. I've had it happen.
Yep. And it's not because of one person's driving skills. It's just because of what you're hauling.
Exactly.
What do you mean? You've had that load where the wind's been behind you the whole trip, and all of a sudden it comes out and hits you on the side. And you're sitting there going, what the heck went on? And that's the only thing that's changed. I watched my load make it. I've watched it go from the right lane, go to the left lane, and never move the steering wheel.
Well, it happens a lot to me in Wyoming, but I don't have.
That's because of the wind.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So Grumpy, on to you. What do you say to those people who decry that whole thing about being an outlaw? I mean, the same can be said for just old-time truckers. Grumpy old trucker, what say you?
Well, most people that are on the road that drive four-wheelers look at us as nothing but trouble, and we're in their way and everything anyhow.
The guy in the way, yeah.
And
I mean, but to be branded that outlaw or just old school, untamable, I mean, doesn't that kind of hit you? It's got to hit you somewhere.
Look, I'm going to tell you what right now, just like I've said in the past on other shows. I went to actual truck driving school, but I went to a reputable school.
Yep.
That is very good. To become a professional, just like a person that does a doctor or lawyers, they go to be a professional, to do their job right, to know what they're doing, to understand it. So I consider myself an actual true professional, and that's one reason why I've been able to do this for 25 years now.
Hold the phone.
The difference.
Who's a professional?
The difference between an outlaw and a driver is that professionalism you're talking about. The reason we've lasted as long as we have is because we know what we're doing and we don't overstep our skis. So I totally agree with what you said, and I totally understand it. Believe me. The outlaw thing came and went with the production of the movie Convoy. I think.
Oh, that wasn't the only movie.
Well, no, but the point that I was going into, Thumper, is that Hollywood had a habit, and still does, of sensationalizing everything. And Poet, I'd be damn careful, because Tig may get a little jealous by you making that offer. I'm just saying. I mean, has anyone? Let's put this whole Bill and Help Act thing into perspective, okay? Does anyone, if you know something I don't, please put it in the chat, put it in comments, email me the results at truckinnews@outlook.com. But have anybody seen recent crash or safety data that proves livestock haulers are more or less more unsafe because of ELDs or hours of service rules? Because that's what this comes down to. It comes down to that. So what say you in the audience? What say you, Thumper?
No, I haven't seen any proof or not.
Mm-hmm. I've actually done research. I've looked back a decade, and the last thing on record was from 2013. It was solid crash data, and that was probably just because they had to, and it was just after ELDs were introduced. Because I think that was introduced in 2009, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, but since then, nothing's been done. And I looked specifically to see. I looked back 10 years. Nothing. I even went back further, but there's no collective reports. It's just not there. So that's why I'm asking the question. If there's no data there, why make this rule or why make this change? Why is Congress trying to fix a problem that's never been properly measured? What do you think, Dollar?
Because it's Congress.
Well, I mean, who granted them the authority to fix
Why
problems
not?
that didn't
Why?
exist?
Okay, who gives them the right to fix a problem that there is no problem, but they fix it?
Right, but see, it shouldn't be It shouldn't take a congressional act to do something in an industry that doesn't affect them.
It's literally, this bill is to pass so it can put more money in somebody else's pocket than the drivers.
So you think it's a money thing?
Yeah, I think it is. Everything revolves about money. Have you not understand that? I've been saying that for about a year now.
Wait, it's all revolves around money? Wait, you didn't tell me this.
Well, I try to leave you out of the loop.
Of course, always leave me out of the loop. Yes, it's always about money. It's depending on whose pocket it's going in.
Yeah. Court, I welcome your opinion, as I said earlier in the broadcast. You're entitled to it. He says, as a 40-year tractor-trailer mechanic, the absolute most ignorant people I've ever known are the most dangerous on the road. Livestock trucks are indeed the most dangerous. Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion and their beliefs, but the presupposition...
It goes back to that whole... We have supposedly this outlaw image we need to follow. I'm sorry, Cor. I'm a mechanic, or I'm not a mechanic. I'm a cattle hauler.
Yeah.
But yet, here I am, sitting here, trying to spread my knowledge on social media here.
Yeah.
And I welcome.
Anything.
You could shut up, Dollar. But and I try to spread my knowledge to people who want to get into the industry. But the ones that
not everybody's going to agree with us. I mean, we have to reside to that. I mean, what we're trying to do here is spread knowledge and have a conversation about things people might not otherwise hear. So, Court, I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it, but I can understand why you say it.
I agree. I agree with it, but I disagree with it because he's pinpointing a certain stereotype in the trucking world. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But
I just want to lead with the fact that you stick with our show long enough, not just this week, but coming up week. I'm hoping I can change your opinion because, you know what, your opinion's been born over being 40 years in the industry. But we're talking collectively, a group of guys here on this panel that's got nearly close to 100 years. So I think a lot can be learned and a lot can be exchanged. So I welcome every opinion you have. And thank you for doing that, Court. Thumper,
I mean, I'm not all...
I want to make it important.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not... I like when some people come in like that. It's like that guy you see on YouTube. This is my opinion. Change my mind. It's a challenge for me. I like those challenges. But, you know, it goes back to that whole thing. We have this image, but also at the same time, there's other lines. I mean, you're a mechanic of 40 years, so you should also understand there's all of that in every freight, not just cattle. Yes, there might be more in cattle because we're that stereotype. We have to uphold this image. We drive a nice truck. There's a lot of people out there with these fucking egos that I just want to shove down their throats and strangle them to death. But that's besides the point. Not all of us are like that, is what I'm getting at.
Wait, what about the guys that are buying cheap trucks to still do the same job and don't have the fancy trucks anymore? You know,
Honestly, some of those people that I've ran across, they're the nicest people I've ever met. They'll give you the shirt off their back. They'll help you load. If you broke down, they stop to see if you're okay. Yes, I'm not saying that, I drive a 379 Peterbilt. I do that too. But, Dollar, this is where you and I see differently.
No, I'm just bringing out the facts.
No.
Well,
listen.
actually, Dollar made a kind of a somewhat valid point. More than not, people are looking at some of these plastic trucks not because of an image, but because of the economy.
And nowadays it is. And
another famous YouTuber I follow actually did that. He's actually traded in his hooded truck for a more economically newer truck.
Yeah.
I'll tell you off air who that is, because I'm not going to name names unless.
Right. But
you know.
but what I was saying though, this is where Dollar and I see differently here, eye to eye.
Yeah.
And I know he's gonna jump down my throat as soon as I say this. So let me finish before you jump down my throat, Dollar. Dollar has that mentality of buy what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I have that mentality of buy what you can afford and goes ethically on what you are doing specifically. Like a hooded truck in mine, I was able to. We are able to afford them, so we buy them.
Right.
There's some people out there that can't afford it. They buy what they need so they could get something, so they get something else further on down the road.
Yep.
Get what they
Now,
want. Buy what you could afford and is worth it at the beginning, then work into what you want.
Now, the last thing I want to leave off with this show, when we're talking about this act, Thumper, you want to talk a little bit about what you learned last week? Because part of this discussion centers around that 150 air mile radius provision, otherwise known as the ag exemption.
Yes. So I literally sat there for over an hour and a half talking to this DOT cop. Super nice guy. I hate getting pulled into scales because you just never know what kind of mood they're going to be in or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a super nice guy. The way I was doing my logbook was completely wrong. And he explained it to me. And what saved my ass from getting a ticket at the time, I'm not saying this is going to happen everywhere you go, but what saved me from getting shut down and getting a huge fine or whatever it is I had documented everything I've done from every stop to like check cows on the side of the road to even using the bathroom, because just recently we had one of our drivers that didn't do any of that stuff. He was in his ag exempt and he got nailed for like 7 or 8 days of falsified logs.
Right.
And I don't want to go do that. So I've been kind of doing my logbook different, and it's saved my butt. But from what I have learned now is you get that 150 mile pickup and drop off, which at the drop off, I thought as soon as you unload, you can drive 150 miles and that doesn't count, or, that's still in the ag exempt. Well, I was wrong. As soon as those cows step off your trailer, you're on your normal time.
Right.
Which generally 2 miles down the road from where we unload, I don't log that. And I even openly admitted it that I don't log it because it's only going 2 miles to a safe haven, I guess we could say it as.
Right.
And it all depends on the DOT cop, what kind of mood they're in and everything else. But if you don't know the ag exempt laws and rules and stuff like that, ask. They will tell you how it's supposed to be interpreted, and I've learned so much from doing that. I mean, okay, so I unload, I'm back on a normal clock, I got another dispatch, I have to drive 2 hours. Let's say I have to drive 6 hours. 3 hours of that I log, and then 3 hours into the trip to my destination is ag exempt. My loading is ag exempt. When I leave is ag exempt. So that could be up to 8 to 10 hours, depending on if your cattle are ready or this and that, depending on the scenario.
Yep.
So you pretty much did a whole break in there, and your logbook has reset.
Yep.
Those 3 hours that you drove are now reset. You got a whole new clock to work with, plus your destination exempt. So you will literally never run out of hours. If you run out of hours in a week, you're doing something wrong.
So what about what you just described? And that's how I want to wrap tonight's program up. What about what you just described makes you stand on the laurels of what ain't broke, don't fix it? In other words, you said to me off the air, we have a system that works, don't mess with it. Now, based on what you just told me and everything you just described, why do you stand on that laurel?
I stand on it because you'll never run out of hours. Simple as that. You got your egg exempt on your drop off, you got your egg exempt on your pickup, and your home base. So there's really no reason to change it. It works. You're never, if you go out of hours in a week, unless you're hauling coast to coast, that's the only way.
Yep.
You are going to run out of hours or run into logbook issues. But for the type of work that majority of us do, you will never run out of hours. Simple as that. So there is no reason to change it. If they want to sit there and say, oh, we don't need no logbooks, you're asking for a disaster. Simple as that.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
That's how I feel on it.
I got something to add to that.
Go ahead, Dollar.
Many years ago, when I was still hauling livestock, I went to a deal, and it was put on by one of the big hog producers, and they had a person in there talking about the 150-mile air mile radius. They've done it with hogs. You can legally run, if everything's within your reach.
Right.
You can run 1,200 miles a day, legal. But that's not stating that the driver is capable of doing it. But you can run it legally 1,200 miles a day. If everything is placed properly. Not,
notated, and done the right way.
If you're willy-nilly and it ain't going to work.
Yep.
Well, and then also, too, that egg exempt in there and all that stuff, it's also based on how well the driver is rested. That's the other thing there, too. And that was one thing he stressed. He goes, we can't prove that you're not tired. We can't prove that you are tired. Yep. They have to go off of what we have in black and white.
Yep.
They have to prove you wrong in your black and white.
Yes. And if you do it right, that's why I said, if you know how to work the system to your favor, you can get away with almost anything. But at the same time, you gotta be respective of what you're doing. If you're tired, stop. I mean, simple as that. If the load's gonna be late, I'd rather have it late than seeing somebody in the ditch keeled over.
Yeah, for sure.
I do want to say one more thing, boss man. Standing on the things of it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why should a bureaucrat be allowed to change what we do for a living? Somebody that's never drove a truck.
Very true. I've been standing on those laurels for quite a long time now. Well, guys, we started with steel on the pavement in Louisiana and ended up talking about an accident in Louisiana or in Indiana. We peeled back the headlines, we pushed past the stereotypes, exposed what the reality is. This industry is hauling more than just cattle. It's hauling pressure, policy, confusion, and silence. And you know what I say about silence. Silence is our enemy. While Washington debates whether or not to scrap the rule book, nobody's talking about the stuff that really makes haulers better. Training, equipment, logic. Now, if you're a cattle hauler out there watching this and you felt something tonight, go down below, hit the like button, become a subscriber. Because you know what? You guys aren't the only outlaws out there. You're professionals, you've got judgment, you've got experience, and we want to hear from you. Don't wait for the suits to get it right. Reach out, talk to us, speak up, and stay ready. Because the conversation that we're having tonight might just save lives. Speaking of real voices, there's no one better than the fellow right below me, turning things over and teaching you guys what it's all about. You can find their takes unfiltered on Wednesdays on another platform and fired up on YouTube. Thumper and Bo right before you. Go watch them, go subscribe. We're not just talking mayhem. We're talking things you need to hear about. Thumper, take it away. Bring us home.
Hey, thanks for reminded us, but yeah, you can find me and Last Dollar on Truckers Unhinged on Discord there, and also on YouTube. And literally, it is just us being us.
Yep.
And that's just it. We try to bring the facts. We try to do that. We try to bring you a side of trucking a lot of people don't see. We're all family out here. That's the main thing. and we try to help each other out and everything else. And yeah, I hope this bill doesn't pass, but at the same time, if it passes, we'll figure it out. We'll just go from there. So, well, what do you think, Bo? He's happy. He's wide awake now. So God bless America. Everybody, EMTs, firefighters, military personnel, they don't get the love that they deserve. And hey, here's a fun fact. Majority of truckers are retired military personnel. So
they are.
If you do, thank them. Thank a trucker. And also, what do we always say, Bo? We don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Amen to that. Well said, my friend. I'll tell you what, guys, before we roll out, I want to give a big thanks to our panelists, our callers, and our live chat warriors. You guys watching on the replay, whether you call it live or you come in late and you're part of the replay, you're part of the conversation. You've got a value out of tonight's broadcast. Hit the like button, tell others about it. And remember, it's the trucks that make the deliveries, but it's you that makes the difference. Come back next week and do your part and stand up, stand tall, and speak up and be heard. Do your part to make trucking great again. Till next time, keep it real, keep it right, and keep it rolling.